Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, January 19th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. So just a few things here to update. All right, a couple more things down below and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Make this link sent out to everyone here. Solid. And we should be good to go. All right, as people make their way, I'm going to go ahead and send out this link to the other groups here. All right, looks like people are still making their way in. All right, cool. So good morning, everybody. Today's Thursday, January 19th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'll get a few more moments for people to make their way in, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Hey, Kenny. Morning. Morning, Ben Hardwick. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. All right. Morning, Karen. All right, guys. So people are still making their way in right now. As people make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and just post this on one other page. And then we should be good to go. All right, solid. Let's put this on the section real quick too. 6:23 right now. We got 7 minutes still open, so we got a lot of time. No crazy rush. All right. All right, so it looks like majority of you guys are here already. So just give me a few moments and I'm going to go ahead and analyze US30 real quick pre-market. So, all right, guys, market is opening in 6 minutes. Looking over here on the 10-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour, we currently have a bearish trend. Reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down across the board here. The one thing that we don't have in line here is momentum. So although we do have a bearish trend here, right here on the 10-minute, we don't have momentum for a sell. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take the breakout 2.0. As you guys can see, first requirement, confirm overall trend. Second requirement, confirm direction momentum. Momentum over here is currently bullish, so it's not going to align with our sell that we were planning on taking. So there's not going to be a breakout for today. Going back over here to the 1 minute, you can see that price is below the pivots on the 10, below the pivots on the 5. However, it's above the pivots here on the 1. So we don't have an overall direction of trend. This is bearish, and this is bullish. And with that said, we can't move on to look for any entries just yet. So we will look for entries once we have the opportunity, but right now we just don't have that yet. So we're gonna have to let the market open, and then we'll have to run with it and see what the market provides. So next 5 minutes, market will open. We have news this morning as well. We had news over here at 5:30. It was the Philly Manufacturing Index and unemployment claims, both positive. However, the building permits here were negative and housing starts were also negative. So we had news over here at 5:30, and then we have news at 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So 5:30, I'm going to go ahead and mark up news right here. News at 5:30. Price did drop pretty heavy based off the news. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this so that you guys can see it a little bit better. So yeah, looking at the 1 minute over here. As soon as news came out, price dropped super heavily right below. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here for me to mark up. We also have news at 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So I'll mark it up over here. So we'll see if we can find an entry between now and then, hopefully. 7:30 and 8. I'm going to put the requirements up here for the strategies that we applied during the live session, which should be the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, and regular momentum scalp. And that's pretty much all the strategies we'll be looking for today. All right, so if price decides to swing down here in the 1 minute, then we'll be good to look for sells, but at the moment, we don't have that confirmation just yet. So let's see who else is here. Morning, Gary. Morning, Keonia. Morning, Peter. Morning, Christian. Morning, Aroberthers. Welcome. Yeah, it's your first session, it seems like. I haven't seen you before, so welcome to the group. Sorry, I butchered your name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Aroberthus. I think you're Alan, right? Or I don't know, maybe it's a different person you joined. But yeah, welcome. Morning, Active. Morning, Saren. Morning, Rashida. Morning, everybody. Alan. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll go by Alan. It's probably easier to pronounce. So yeah, welcome to the group, Alan. Going over here real quick. Let's see who else is here. Patricia just posted her profits pre-market. So Patricia over here took some pre-market trades, logged in a total profit of 3,145. Nice work, Patricia. Yeah, Patricia over here was trading early morning pre-market. She avoided the crazy news spike right there. And we'll see where we'll take this in the next few moments. So, all right, guys, looking over here on the higher time frames, as I mentioned, everything here is bearish. So higher time frame identification of trend is bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour is bearish. The long-term direction is going to be bearish with regard to US30 here. Looking over here on the shorter time frames, it's also somewhat bearish on the 10 and 5. However, the 1 minute here hasn't confirmed. So once price actually drops below the pivots here, we can confirm a bearish downtrend and we can start looking for some sell entries. But at the moment, we just don't have that available just yet. Hey, Shannon, how's it going? Morning. Morning on. Morning, AR. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, market is opening in about 1 minute. So when the market opens, we'll see where price goes. My guess is that long-term direction for today is going to be bearish. I think, price might spike up slightly, but I think eventually price will just make its way all the way back down. So that's my assumption. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see where it ends up going, but there's no guarantee it's going to go one way or the other yet. And things here are still moving back and forth. So there's no clear direction at the moment. However, long-term direction right here on the higher time frames do look bearish. So we'll see. But there's no breakout for today. So we'll just use this as confluence, but there's no actual breakout for us to take at the moment because there's no alignment of momentum and trend. So, all right, guys, market is opening in about 15 seconds. We'll see where it goes from here. I think it'll swing back down eventually. So let's have to wait for it. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up opening price here once market opens. And there we go. So, all right, guys, market is now open. Price is pushing up slightly. So just looking over here, the first things we want to confirm before we look for entry, guys, is going to be overall trend. And then after we confirm overall trend, we want to confirm overall bias of momentum. So currently right now on the 1 minute, obviously you can see price here is bullish since price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. Same with the 10-minute over here. It's currently neutral. It was bearish here, but then price started to swing above. So price is currently above the pivots. Pivots are angling up. And the trend meter down below is blue. So it's not green anymore, but is now blue. Going over here to the 10-minute, this is also going sideways at the moment. So the 10-minute here was bearish prior to market open, pre-market, and then it starts to swing above. It's in between the pivots now. It's not above, but it is in between, and it's attempting to make a shift to the upside. But I don't think this will hold. I think this is a temporary push to the upside, and I think price will just come crashing right back down. So we'll see. We just got to give a few moments. There's no confirmation yet, though. The only real confirmation here is at the 1 minute, which is currently bullish, but the 5 and 10 here I've not confirmed yet. So in that case, I'm still expecting it to come right back down. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. You know, we have some downtime right now because we have no confirmation of direction. Once we have confirmation of direction, we can start looking for entries. But for the time being, we're pretty much going to sit tight and wait for this to play out. My guess over here is if price reaches this session up here, one of two things will happen, right? Once price reaches the Asia low right here, price will either reject off it and come down or break through and continue pushing up. My guess is that it'll probably come up and test it. If it does reach this point, it'll probably come up and test it and then come back down, because my bias right now is still for a sell. I think overall direction here is still strong for a sell because the 1 hour here is very strong for a sell. 30-minute here is very strong for a sell. And the 10-minute over here is just kind of bouncing around. It hasn't pushed up above here yet to really confirm a possible swing in direction. So I think this is going to come back down. I think this push up right here is just very temporary on the shorter time frames. But I mean, either way, there's just no direction right now. As you guys can see, price just keeps getting pulled back to this opening price. Price initially pushed up, dropped down heavily, came right back up, and now it's just going right sideways from where it's currently at. Not really much going on here. So we'll give it some time to figure out its direction. Once it figures out the direction, we can start trading that way. But right now we just don't have anything. So let's keep taking a look for the Forex pairs over here. I don't see any entries. There was a couple entries that came up, but they lost last night, which is fine because, there was news coming up this morning. There's a lot of news this week. That's why we're not really taking any of these Forex pairs, guys. It's Fed week. So we want to be very careful about taking any of these entries here, especially for these that are highly impacted like USD CHF. This is like direct opposite of each other. So if we have good US news, this will go up. If you have bad US news, this will go down. So not exactly the best time to do trading Forex unless like you have real strong conviction that price is going to go in that direction, because there's going to be a lot of spikes here. And that's kind of what's been happening throughout the year so far. So all right, there's no confirmation yet here on the 10. It's still pushing above it. So you can see right here, price is above the pivots, but it hasn't really confirmed it yet. So it can easily just bounce off this point and come right back down. Let's go over here to the 1 minute. All right, price is finally at the session that I mentioned. There's two different scenarios here that can play out. Price will either bounce off and come back down, or it'll break through and continue pushing up higher. My guess is that it'll bounce off and come back down. I don't know when this will happen, but I think eventually it will bounce off and come back down. If not there, the next level of rejection would be up here. So I don't think price is going to get farther than these areas here. I think these are the two farthest areas it'll push, and then it'll probably come back down if the bias still here remains at sell. So if price still stays bearish here on the 1 hour, I think it's just going to reach these points here and then it's going to bounce directly off. I think this is all temporary push up. And we'll see where it goes. But I mean, who knows? We really don't know what's going to happen in this market, especially with all the stuff going on, possible recession looming above our heads. The recession is going to happen. I just don't know how heavy it's going to be. So you can see right here on the 10-minute, price rejected directly off the pivots, and now it's coming right back down. So kind of similar to what I marked up here for the sessions, price came above, rejected off the sessions or close to it, and then now it's coming right back down. Next target area for this is going to be right back to opening price, right? Opening price right here, this blue line, this acts as a magnet. So it just keeps pulling price right back to it. That's typically what happens early on in the market until it starts moving directional. I think overall price will be bearish though, like by the end of the session. So I think by the end of the session, price will be below this blue line for sure. Might not happen right now, but at the end of the session, price will be below here. It's currently 635 right now. So it's got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. It has about 6 to 7 hours until market close. So I think by 7 hours, price will be below this blue line. All right, cool. Medusa said CNBC released news about the Dow falling. Let me refresh this. Yeah, it says Dow falls 200 points on fears the Fed will over tighten. Yeah, everything is pretty much bearish right now. As you guys can see, the Dow is down 200 points, S&P is down 22 points, NASDAQ's down 62 points, Russell 2K is down 30 points, and the VIX is up 3%, which is very high for the VIX. I never see it like above or below more than like 1 or 2%. Yeah, news over here from CNBC regarding the Dow. We'll see where this ends up taking us though. Here we go, as price came down. So price came right back to that area where I mentioned, the opening price. It came right back to it and then rejected directly off it. So this is like the midpoint. Whenever price pushes away, it's probably going to push to the sessions here, bounce off the sessions, and then come right back to the opening price. Or it might just come back down from where it's currently at. But as you guys can see, there's no direction with US30 right now. It's pretty much just going sideways. If I was to draw a range right here, probably would just fill in the bodies. But that's pretty much the range. As you can see, not really much is going on. It broke above here, kind of range sideways right there. And this is now the new range. Started from basically right here. See how wide this range is. It's actually pretty wide. It's about 1,000 pips. 1,000 pips, 100 points. Let's see where price goes now from where it's currently at. It's currently near the sessions again. And one of two things will happen. Price will break above it, or it's going to come right back down to opening price from here. Still bearish on the 1 hour. So I'm still expecting this to come back down. But we'll see. Because the 1 hour still has a long way to go. Before the 1 hour here can shift in trend, it's going to have to push up at least 4,000 to 5,000 pips. So that's a big push for it to confirm reversal, right? But I mean, we'll see. We have news coming up at 7:30, I believe. CB leading index. Let me check my FX book. Yeah, everything's at 7:30. So we have 7:30 natural gas stock change, and then 8 o'clock crude oil. And then we have Fed member Brainerd speaking over here at 10:15. All right, we'll see where this goes. But there's no confirmation of direction yet, so there's nothing that we can really take. CT was asking if everything just froze. I think it's still moving. It's just kind of flat at the moment. So, all right, let me take a look over here real quick if things have changed. So looking over here, if price continues to push up, we can start looking for some buys here on the short term, just the short term, right? Long term, I think price may be coming back down because the 1 hour here still hasn't shifted. But on the short term, if this stays above the pivots and it just stays above here, then we can start looking for some buys. But at the moment, we don't have that confirmation yet, right? The 10-minute over here still needs to close above here and it needs to stay above here. So this is the first candle on the 10-minute, which is above the pivots. We need it to actually confirm that it's going to stay above here, right? If that becomes the case, then the 5-minute trend over here has shifted to bullish and the 1 minute here has been bullish. So Short term, I think price will, maybe we can look for some buys here. If not, then we'll catch on its way back down. But right now, currently, we don't have a confirmation of a bullish trend here on the 10 just yet. You can see price is coming right back down. It's not a good time to enter a buy yet until you have that confirmation. So for the bias here, let's go to the first strategy. First strategy over here, momentum scout failure. These strategies come in order. So this one's going to come first, then this one, right? The first requirement for pretty much all the strategies is to confirm the overall trend. This 1 minute trend over here is currently bullish because price is above the pivots. Pivots are angling up, and then trend meter down below is green. So that's a bullish trend on the 1 minute. Looking over here on the 5 minute, you can see the same thing, right? Price again is above the pivots. Trend meter is green, and the pivots are angling up. So on the 5 minute and 1 minute, it's currently bullish. However, here on the 10 minute, this is still considered bearish, right? Because price did not confirm that it's above the pivots yet. Price was strongly below the pivots. The trend meter is still red, and the pivots here are not necessarily angling up very strongly. They're kind of angling up, but they're also kind of angling sideways. So there's no confirmation here on the 10 yet. If price does stay above this area and the pivots start to follow, then we'll probably be shifting to a buy on the short term at the very least. Short term, but long term here is still bearish. So, you know, we could probably hop in for some quick entries, not necessarily anything too crazy, but something to just hop in, get out, and wait for the next entry. But at the moment, we don't have that confirmation yet. So main thing to look out for here is going to be the 10-minute time frame. We want to make sure this stays bullish. We currently have momentum already, so we don't need momentum, but we do need the trend to confirm. We have a buy signal here on the 10-minute, buy signal here on the 5 minute, and a buy signal here on the 1 minute. So with that said, momentum is not needed to be confirmed right now specifically. Yeah, Maddie said he thinks everything might shift back down. Yeah, and I agree with you, Maddie. I think eventually price will shift back down. The short term here is pretty much leading price at the moment. So right now, I think short-term price is pushing up, and then eventually I do think it'll come back down. And you can see here, it is starting to come back down. You can see on the 10-minute, there's no confirmation, right? That's why you want to look for any buys yet. So until this confirms it's going to stay above here, this is still going to be bearish. It's got to wait. It's just going to be a matter of time until we start to have some real movement. If you guys remembered from yesterday, we didn't have any movement until like later in the session. We pretty much waited for almost like, actually, we waited until after the session. So we waited until after about 8 o'clock, and then our entries finally came. So this is kind of similar to what was going on yesterday. It was a lot of back and forth movement, no confirmations until like an hour, 2 hours later. Yeah, Maddie said he's waiting for the daily on the 10-minute as a confluence. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. Frostbite as well. Yeah, Frostbite said, yeah, it looks like it's getting ready. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time, guys. So don't jump into anything too quickly. You know, if you do see an entry for your strategy, if you're not applying any of my strategies, just, you know, make sure that you have that confirmation and confluence to confirm it. For me personally, I don't have a confluence here at all because everything here is still mixed up. And I do think price is going to come back down like it's doing right now in the 10-minute. So long-term direction here is still bearish. So I think everything here will follow. The 1 hour is still leading. So 1 hour is going to be overall leading. 1 minute is obviously going to be, you know, short-term leading. But yeah, you can see price is coming back down super hard. And where is it coming back to? The blue line, right? Opening price. That's what I mentioned to you guys earlier this morning. Mentioned that whenever price pushes away, it typically comes right back to opening price right here. It acts like a magnet. So price pushed above here, faked out super hard. I'm pretty sure whoever tried to chase this buy here just got burnt because they tried to chase it to the upside and then just ended up coming down super heavy. About 800 pips. So that's a big drop from this high point. And here will be the target price point area, opening price. So it's got to be patient and wait for this here. If there's any questions that you guys have, if you guys are not familiar with the strategies and you want me to review anything, you know, right now is a good time to ask because there's no entries available. As soon as the market starts to pick up and we have some sort of direction, I won't be able to answer any questions during this live session. So if you guys have any questions right now, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll continue looking for an entry here as we wait for the confirmation back below. Nice. Maddie said he caught it back to open. Sweet. Yeah, if you're going for like 100 pips, easy to catch on its way back down. So you guys will see a lot of people in the group posting profits. Just a lot of people are just trading off my analysis. A lot of times people are just, they have a strategy that they follow, but they use my analysis as their confluence and confirmation. And if they see something coming down, like for example, Maddie over here was identifying this as coming back down to break to opening price. Because this is basically what I told you guys from the beginning, right? This acts as a magnet. If price pushes away and overall direction is still bearish, odds of it coming right back down to opening price is very likely. So what Maddie did was he took the trade there and then he locked in some trades right there for his sell. No specific entry or strategy for it. He just basically took trades off my analysis. So he locked in 267 right here. Nice work, Maddie. So, I mean, if you guys just listen to what I'm saying and you guys take trades off my analysis, it's possible. It's not something I'd recommend unless you know what you're doing. But if you guys have been part of this live session for a while, you guys will see that I'll typically give my analysis and my observation as to, where price is going to go. And a lot of these horizontal lines here, they act as price points, right? So like, for example, opening price right here, this is an area where price typically comes down and tests. Same with this right here as well, right? This purple line, which is the Asia low. Basically, all the session high lows, news price and opening price is where price typically aims for. So that's where you can find entries like that. See, question from Alan. Alan's asking, Sean, what time are you here till? I'm here till 8 o'clock. So my trading hours typically are from 6:30 to 8. Alan, if I don't see any entries by 8 o'clock, I'll typically stay on until around 8:30, and then that's my official cutoff. So like usually 8 o'clock, I'm done. If there's entries before that, if there's no entries, then typically at least one entry will come up before 8:30. So 8 o'clock to 8:30 is typically my time on here, but usually I'm off by 8 because I don't like trading after 8. If you ever look at the market from 8 to 10 is typically like consolidation phase. That's when people go to lunch. So there's no point in trading around that period. So I pretty much just trade when the volatility is high and then I'm done for the day. All right, so price is bouncing off opening price. Let's see if it pushes back up again and then comes back down. But again, guys, I'm not going to give you guys anything risky. The only entries that I'm going to share with you guys is going to be these entries right here, because these are the ones that I for sure know are going to hit, right? Typically, if we see this first one here and it's too risky, we wait for the next one, and this one usually always hits. And sometimes it's paired with this one right here, the momentum scalp. Yeah, Alan, 8 o'clock Pacific. So 6:30 to 8 o'clock Pacific. All right, still nothing for us to take here, guys. Let's go back and take a look at the higher time frames. Well, not necessarily the higher time frames, but the 5 and 10. So matching these up with the 5 and 10, guys, you guys can see that there's no confirmation of direction yet. The 5-minute here is now back to neutral. Trend meter has turned blue. 10-minute over here as well, right? 10 minutes still bearish, never really changed. It's been bearish this whole time. And let's see if it corrects right back down and continues in this direction. All right. All right, not really much here to look at still, guys. It's still going back and forth. It's just a matter of patience, guys. It's just like how it was yesterday, right? Yesterday, we were pretty much just waiting for a good hour and a half. And then the trade finally came. It's only 6:50 right now, so we have a lot of time. So if there's anything that you guys want me to cover, I'm here to help. So whatever you guys want to ask, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm just going to be hanging out here waiting for confirmation. But as you guys can see, price is starting to confirm. The 10-minute is dropping below, 5-minute dropping below as well. And the 1-minute over here is leading. So here we are back below opening price, right exactly where I thought it would be. We got the sell signal here pending on the 10, sell signal pending on the 5, or the 5 already closed actually. We have a pending sell over here on the 10. We need that sell signal to confirm momentum. So we need that to actually close. Everything here is still bearish. 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 10 minutes still bearish. So overall direction here on the higher time frames bearish. Shorter time frames over here, 1, 5, and 10, bearish, somewhat bearish, and somewhat bearish as well. So we just need these all here to confirm. Once confirmed, we'll look for some sells, and we'll go from there. All right, the 1 minute's still bouncing around, guys. So as you can see, price faked out below the opening price and then came right back up. This is basically what I was referring to you guys earlier. You know, you're going to get a lot of these fake outs at these horizontal lines. So whenever, this is why I never trade at these horizontal lines. If price is too close to opening price right here, or it's touching it, I won't take a trade because as you guys can see, price came below it. It faked out right here, and then it came right back above it, right? It did the same thing over here on the sessions, right? Price reached the sessions, came above it right here, faked out, and then came down super hard. So I don't really trade around these areas. If you guys are familiar with my red flags, that's obviously one of my main red flags there, right? Red flags right here. When to avoid trades when price is near sessions. It's going to be the purple line, red line, and green line. When price is near opening price, which is this blue line here. When price is near news price, which is this pink line right here. Candle prior to entry is too large. It might be due for retracement. And when price is ranging. So red flags here, when to avoid trades. One of my main ones here is going to be all of these horizontal lines. Main things to look out for. Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, Duran's asking, what's a good lot size to trade with a 50K account? So guys, if you guys haven't been on the course has been updated. It tells you which lot size to use on FTMO. So let me go over here real quick and just preview it. So here's a new improved course, guys. When you guys go on here, just look at everything that says Kodi Kai Trades 2.0. All the 2.0 stuff is basically the stuff we're applying here on the live session. So it's pretty much all that's important. If you scroll down a little bit to the bottom, it'll say right here, lot sizes for FTMO. And I think right here, yeah. So if you're on a 50K account, so on a 50K account with a 300 pip stop loss, you shouldn't use anything larger than a 50 lot, but I personally would use a 25 lot because you don't need to over leverage, right? This is the max lot size, but this is the optimal lot size. It's going to be half. You're going to make less profit. It's going to take longer to pass, but odds of you getting passing and not blowing your account are a lot more likely. So with a 300 pip stop loss, typically use around 25. For a 500 pip stop loss, typically use around a 15. And then for the breakout, obviously we're not seeing the breakout today, but it's even smaller losses for that. But yeah, if you guys have access to the course, either the free intro course or the strategies course, everything here has been updated. So anything with a 2.0 is going to have all the strategies we're applying, all the indicators, and basically lot sizing. And then main issues with traders. I also created this module here to show you guys, what everyone struggles with: revenge trading, over leveraging, trading with no trading plan, and focusing too much on other traders. So a couple things here just to look at, and I'll be adding more stuff as we continue along. Anyways, back to the charts. There's still nothing for us to take right here, guys. Looking at current price, it's currently below the pivots now, and it's starting to angle down. So looking at this here, we currently have a bearish trend now. So it is definitely bearish. So the first entry we would be looking for would be a momentum scalp failure. So this sell signal here would be ideal if it closes. It hasn't closed yet, but once it closes, that'll be ideal because we can't look for any momentum scalp variations or any momentum scalps until we have that confirmation. Looking over here for the momentum scalp failure, we just need to confirm the overall trend. It's not fully confirmed yet because the 5 minute is still right here in between the pivots. But we can assume that price here is bearish, right? Because it was already bearish. It retraced up, now it's correcting back down. So technically we could confirm that it's bearish, but might want to wait for a better confirmation. I mean, either way, we're not going to be looking for a momentum scalp failure right away anyways. If I do see a momentum scalp failure and it looks kind of iffy, like there's no confirmation of overall trend yet, then I'm going to skip that one and I'm going to wait for a momentum scalp variation after it. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said, I agree. I want a cleaner confirmation, because you can see here that price is still pushing up. We don't have, so here's a couple things that we're looking for, right? We're looking for the downwards trend here on the 5-minute. We have the sell signal already, but we need the trend to confirm. Here on the 10-minute, price is bearish, but we need the sell signal. So two things we're looking for: sell signal on the 10, bearish confirmation of trend, meaning that price stays below the pivots here on the 5. And then once we have these two, then we can start looking for sells here on the 1-minute. We just don't have a clean confirmation just yet. So yeah, at the moment, we will just continue to watch this move along. All right. Looking over here on the higher time frames, though, everything here is still bearish, so I'm expecting it to come down more. It's just a matter of time until it does. All right. All right, so as you guys can see here back on the 1-minute, where did price pull directly to? Opening price, right? This is like the middle ground for it. Typically, it'll fake out in both directions, and then I'll just come right back here until it's actually ready to move in its direction. So the direction for today is bearish. It's supposed to continue down, but it's going to keep bouncing around until it gets to that point. So I think overall, by the end of the day, it will close below the blue line. It's just a matter of time until it actually does. All right, no confirmation here yet. 5-minute still hasn't confirmed the trend, and the 10-minute over here still has not provided the sell signal. So we're just waiting. Let me see if there's any news here, any updates. Let's see. Yeah, I just don't see anything here. Yeah, nothing new. Let me check we do have news at 7:30 though. So I was hoping this would be at 7, because I think this news here will kind of push price around a little bit. And that's basically what we need. We need something to push price around a little bit, like some kind of catalyst to push price. Because if we don't get a catalyst here, price will just keep going back and forth, right? As you guys can see, price is now above the pivots again, and it is attempting to swing back up here on the 1-minute. So the 5-minute here is for sure not, it's not bearish with regard to trend, so we can't even take any entries yet. Here on the 1-minute, you can see price came up, rejected directly off these sessions. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down to opening price down here. So it's the same pattern over and over again. You guys can see price comes up, it rejects directly off the sessions, gets manipulated off there, and then it comes back down. So it's just a back and forth movement. Not really much here to look at all. Price is just gonna keep bouncing around. We need price to like really push away from this area. So basically what I need here to happen is I need price to push like way down here and stay down there, right? If it does that, then we're gonna be okay with looking for sells. Vice versa, if we're looking for buys here, I need price to like push up here, right? I need to push like way above here and then stay up there. So once we have that, like that's all we really need. We need a catalyst to push price one direction or the other, which is hopefully going to be the news event here at 7:30. It's kind of late though, because it's, you know, once we get to 7:30, it's getting close to 8, and it's going to be hard for us to really confirm an entry, because we don't want to take entries where it's just going to be retracement back to opening price after the news events happen. So here he goes, price pushes back down. It did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? Price came up, tested the sessions again, came back down, and returned back to opening price. So you can tell here that price wants to come down. Like its overall direction here is pointing towards the downside. It wants to come down, but the problem is it keeps having issues. Once it gets down here, it rejects or it fakes out, and then it comes right back up. It's eventually going to come down, but right now it looks like it's churning traders within this area. I think it's luring in more people on the buy side. So once we have enough on the buy side, it's going to dump down super heavily. Looking over here at retail sentiment. So here's a tool that I use sometimes. I don't use it as often as I used to, but you guys can see right here, it has a percentage, right? So this is the sentiment for US30. It basically shows you where the retail traders are trading. Right now, there's no bias. You can see it's 52% long, 48% short. This means that 52% of retail traders are currently holding buy positions, while 48% are holding sell positions. So at this point right here, it looks like they're looking to lure in some more buyers here so that they can dump price down and stop everybody out, once they have the opportunity. But they just don't have enough people on either side yet. So the thing is, the market makers are just going to keep pushing price up and down until there's enough traders on one side, because they're not going to make a lot of money by stopping out 2% of traders when there's only 2% majority on one side, right? It doesn't make sense. That's how market makers make money, and institutions, right? They try to load up people on one side, and then once there's enough people, they dump price one way or the other, and then they make money off those people. So it's just, you just got to wait for it. There's no confirmation here yet, and there's no real movement. Hey, Brock, how's it going? Morning. Christian said, Sean, where can you send me that link of trader sentiment? I'll send it right here in the chat, Christian. So it's right there in the Zoom chat. I think you could find it on the course too, but I sent it right there in the Zoom chat if you want to grab it. It's good for a long-term confluence, because you typically want to trade the opposite of everybody. As you guys will see, majority of people are not good at trading. So you want to do the opposite. If everybody's buying, you typically want to sell. If everybody's selling, you typically want to buy. Yeah, I know, Maddie. Yeah, exactly. All right. So other than that, there's not much else to look at right now. We're still looking for entries here, guys, but there's nothing much to look at right now because there's no confirmation. So here on the 10-minute, we never got the sell signal. Here on the 5-minute, we never got the confirmation of trend, right? So until we get confirmation, as you guys can see, price is just going back and forth between opening price and the sessions right here. Market open right here at 6:30. Price has not really gone past it for an extended period. It just keeps faking out. Price will come up, fake out, come back below, fake out, come back above, and then stay right down the middle. This is the range that it's been moving in for the past 30 minutes to an hour now. Yeah, there's no direction at the moment. Long-term direction here is still bearish though, so we'll see. Barack said it seems they may be interested to push price higher and higher. It's been bearish for so long. I think price will remain bearish, Barack, personally, because everything here is still bearish. If you're looking here on the short term, yeah, price is attempting to push up, but looking over here on the higher time frames, it's very bearish. So in order for this to shift, the 1 hour would have to go up over 6,000 pips. So I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. It might happen slowly, over the next week or so, but definitely not going to happen today, right? It's a big push. So if you look here on the higher time frames, this is why you guys should start from high to low, because yeah, on the shorter side, you'll see that it might look like it's shifting, but on the higher time frames, you can see the actual picture, right? Like the 1 hour here is so far from shifting. I don't think this is going to shift anytime soon. And then also here on the 30-minute as well. So both 1 hour and 30-minute, I still see very strong bearish confirmation. The 10-minute here is attempting to shift up, but I don't think it's going to have enough push to really get past that point. I mean, if anything, if it does push up, it'll probably push up maybe halfway here on the 1 hour. This is maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 pip push, but not necessarily enough for a full confirmation of a reversal. So, I mean, we'll see. I just don't like to predict the market like that, right? I like to move off what the market gives me. Maybe if I was an intraday trader or a swing trader, it would make sense for me to catch it from the low. But since we're scalping here, I kind of want to just focus on what's important right here and now until we have some sort of better confirmation. We'll see. There's just nothing here for us to look at the moment. Let's see. Christian said, I think it's waiting for news to push downside or make a wick to the upside, then continue down. Yeah, no, and I agree too, Christian. Same. Fern said, would a 3-minute pivot scalp make sense right now, or am I crazy? Well, there's no confirmation of trend. So if you were to take a pivot scalp, you would have to confirm the trend, right, Fern? And there's no confirmation of trend. So, I mean, even if you were looking to take that, 10-minute here still isn't bullish, or it's still technically bearish. The 5-minute here might be somewhat bullish, but it's not really confirmed yet, right? You can see the trend meter down here keeps shifting. It's from red to blue to green, back to green slightly. But this one candle here would be the only candle that would be with a bullish trend. So over here, I don't think this here is confirmed yet. So I don't see any entry for a pivot scalp at the moment. Going over here to the 3-minute. So you're looking at this one right here, right? So if you're looking at it with not an overall direction of bias, then yeah, you could possibly have taken it, but it's also at the sessions. So there's just a lot of reasons here not to take the trade if it did come up, which it did come up right there. This is the one you're talking about, right? And it would have hit TP, but it's not one that I would personally take because there's just so many reasons not to take it, right? There's like maybe one good reason to take it because the requirements are met, but you know, weighing your pros and cons, the sessions is right there. The 5-minute here is somewhat bullish, but the 10-minute here is not bullish. So that's why I personally wouldn't have taken it. But, you know, it just depends on the person. If you're okay with taking riskier trades, then you can take it because it's not to say that the trades don't hit. It's just, it depends on your risk appetite. You know, if your appetite's not too heavy on risk, then you probably want to wait for a higher quality trade. But you did identify that properly, Fern, if you're applying it without the overall trend. So if you guys are still confused about like what I'm talking about right here, let me put the requirements for that strategy up. So the strategy that Fern is talking about is the pivot scalp, right? If you're just applying it like basically like how it is here, then yeah, that'd be a pivot scalp because you can see price, you want to confirm a valid momentum signal. We have a buy signal right here. Confirm price is above or below the pivots. Price is above the pivots here. And then you enter right there for a quick TP stop loss. So if you're familiar with the pivot scalp, yeah, you can take a trade here, but it's not one I would personally take because I typically want to trade when there's actually confirmation confluence in that direction. So take that off real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Owen said, bro, market makers are very active lately, just kicking people out. But you're right. But you are a very tight, very right. They're waiting for buyers and dump prices. Yeah, no, and I agree with you 100% on. That's why I'm not really messing in the market right now. I'm just waiting because they can really push price either way, right? Like for example, right here, I think they're stacking up buyers before dumping price. Because the thing is, we have news coming up later this week. Like this is Fed week. So if you guys looked at all of the news this week, basically on Monday, actually Monday was a holiday. Tuesday over here, we had USD news, right? We had Empire State Manufacturing Index was negative. And then on Wednesday, we had core retail sales, basically core retail sales and core PPI, inflation news, right? All negative. So the market is going down. Obviously, based off the news here, market's going down. So there's no reason for price to really push up unless they're manipulating price just for the big news that's coming tomorrow, right? So tomorrow we have existing home sales, Fed member Waller speaking. And then today as well, we have Fed member Brainerd speaking. We have CB leading index. So I think right now it's just temporarily pushing to the upside. And then as more inflation news comes out, they're just going to dump price even further. So I see this as manipulation, right? I think price is just being manipulated to the upside so that people think price is going to correct. But I think eventually price will just make its way back down because I don't think it's done dropping yet. Let's see. So we have a couple of news events today. Each Fed member is going to cover, the inflation news. So they're just going to review the stuff that's already come out, which is not good news. And then next week, let me see what we got next week. Next week, we have flash services PMI, flash manufacturing PMI. We have a lot of heavy news again next week. Crude oil, GDP, durable goods, and then core PCE price index. So we have some more inflation news tomorrow too. So not tomorrow, next week. So I think if anything, price might be propped up a little bit, but eventually I think by like next week, price will just come right back down because I'm not expecting any good news to come out with regard to inflation. We're still going through like hyperinflation at the moment. And as you can see from the news here, it was saying that, Dow falls 200 points on the fears that the Fed will over tighten, which is what I'm expecting too. If we're going to a recession, they're going to have to over tighten. So it's inevitable. Let's see, Veroxy, I agree. 6K pips is a long shot. Yeah, it is. But if price stays above even slightly for a little bit, Brock, we can take like short-term moves. So I'm just mentioning for the long-term direction. I think long-term direction price is going to continue down further, but short-term price can easily shift at any moment, right? So we still have news coming up here at 7:30. Here we go. As price comes right back below opening price. You guys can see it did the same pattern that I just mentioned, right? It did the same thing it did earlier. So earlier today, I mentioned price will come up, fake out, and then come down, right? What happened here again? Price came above the sessions, faked out, and came right back down to the opening price. So this is baseline. You guys can see whenever price fakes out, it comes right back to opening price. Even if it fakes out below here, say price drops below, fakes out like it did right here, and then pulls right back. These horizontal lines are key areas to look at just to be aware of what's going on. But as you guys can see, price is starting to shift right back down for a bearish bias. So this is why I was not looking for a buy earlier, because I already knew this was going to happen. This is not something new to me, something that we see all the time. 5 minute here is swinging right back below. If price stays below here, we can confirm the bearish trend. And then same with the 10 minute here. If we get a sell signal and price stays below, we can confirm the bearish trend. Yeah, Rashida said it looks like a Head and Shoulders, and then Christian said it looks like a Batman pattern. Yeah, no, I can see the Head and Shoulders right here on the 1 minute. Rashida, I can kind of see it. It's kind of a messy Head and Shoulders, right? Are you looking at it as a regular Head and Shoulders or an inverted? Because I could kind of see it here, but it is kind of messy. So I'm assuming this is the head, right? Yeah. So this is kind of what you see right there. Yeah, it's messy. The shoulder here is way too high. So, but if this is the case, like if you see this pattern here, it goes with my analysis that price is going to come back down. So I agree with your analysis. I don't like trading patterns. But I do agree if that's the Head and Shoulders that you see there, it's going to line up with my analysis because I do think price is going to come back down, right? For my guess today, I think price is going to be bearish by the end of the day. So yeah, we'll see where this goes from here. Yeah, CT said patterns traps. Maria said it's an M pattern. Yeah, that's why I don't really trade patterns, guys, because I think patterns are subjective. You'll force yourself to see something that's not really there. So I personally don't like patterns, but they do work sometimes if they align with your other analysis. Yeah, G43 said 4-hour zone, look left. Let's see what you're referring to. Yeah, I mean, there's a support right here. There's a lot of support right here, actually. I don't think it's going to hold, though. I think price will break through it. So there's a zone there. If you want to turn the SRs, there's actually a cleaner zone right here. So I turn my SR indicator. So yeah, I do see the zone, but I don't know if this will hold because it's still bearish. So it's pretty much still bearish on these higher time frames. I think this is the same zone we looked at yesterday, right? There's one that I think someone else mentioned this yesterday too. Or actually, no, someone mentioned the zone over here and price broke right through it. It was one of these. Yeah, I think it was this one right here. Someone identified the zone, but price broke like literally right through it. So I think the momentum is still there and will continue pushing, but we'll see. Either way, still considered bearish. So bearish right there, bearish right there, bearish right there. Yeah, Maddie said looks like liquidity to me. Yeah, and I agree too. So I think I'd consider that zone there as liquidity. So if price drops below, I mean, if you look at right here on the 1 minute, there's a lot of liquidity just sitting right here too. Right, so if price reaches this point down here, I think price is going to blast right through. So I see a lot of stop losses sitting right here. Whoever was chasing the buys earlier. So for example, if someone was chasing a buy from right here, say if they saw price coming above here, where do they place their stop loss? They place it at the previous swing, right? Which is right there. That's how I know where these stop losses are sitting, because basically whoever enters these buys here, everyone places their stop loss in the same area, right? They see price above, they place their stop loss right here. They enter at some point over here, they place their stop loss right there, right? And you already know people like to go for these big moves like that. So I see the market makers kind of screwing with people. So we'll just see where it goes. Yeah, exactly. G43 said yeah, just it's a waiting game now. Exactly. It's been like that pretty much all session. It was kind of how it was yesterday. So if you guys remember yesterday, we pretty much waited for an hour and a half. There was no entries. Once that hour and a half passed, price started to finally move in a direction, and then we finally were able to take a trade. So again, right here, price reached the sessions, faked out. Where's target price point from here? Back to open. But we'll see. I mean, price might just come up and fake out again, come back down. Yeah, I know, Maddie, for sure. Glenn's asking, what indicator is that on top of the volume? Which one are you talking about, Glenn? If you're talking about this blue line right here, this is the built-in one. So if you look at the volume indicator, it's the moving average that's built into it. So you just turn on the moving average, and that's the blue line. So I think that's the indicator you're talking about. It's part of the built-in volume indicator. All right, so Glenn's asking, is that EMA? No, it's built in. So if you go to the volume indicator, it's built in. Like it's not added to it. It's already on it. Yeah, no problem, Glenn. Yeah, it's just a moving average. I think it's just a simple moving average, but it's the one that's built in. Because the thing is, it's based on this specific indicator. So if you add a regular EMA, it's going to be added to the candles, not the volume. So you got to use the one that's actually connected to the volume there. Yeah, Maddie said bearish movement probably after 8, still messing with retail traders before news. Keonia said, yeah, it's doing the same move, might shoot down after news. I agree with you guys 200%. it's just gonna, it's been doing the same thing, right? So price comes above, fakes out. So fake out right here, pulls back below, fakes out right here, pulls back below, fakes out again right here, and then pulls back below. It's the same pattern, just going over and over again until the direction gets set. It's basically just churning traders. It's trying to lure in traders in here for a buy. And then I think eventually price will just come right back down to stop everybody out, because we do have a lot of liquidity sitting down below here. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, right? If I see price come back down here, it's going to hit liquidity. It's just going to knock everybody out, because there's so much liquidity sitting right here. And by liquidity, I mean this is where people's stop losses are. So whoever's chasing the buys here, they're placing their stop losses right here. So when price comes down and triggers all the stop losses, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of the stop loss hunt. You know, it comes down, hits your stop loss, and then comes down even harder. So that's my guess. But again, you know, as I mentioned, I don't like to predict the market. I just do what the market tells me. Like if the market tells me it's going down, I'm going to take it for a sell, as long as I have an entry that lines up with it. But I'm not going to predict and take, okay, I'm going to look for a sell here so I can get in for a discount and then try to catch this liquidity push. I don't really trade like that. It's gambling, right? Because you want to make sure that you have your parameters set in place and you guys have an understanding as to like what's going to happen next, so that you guys don't freak out, right? Because what happens with a lot of people is they take a trade and they don't have an actual strategy, or they don't have a plan. And then once price goes against them, they start to freak out. So every time you enter a trade, guys, you have to know what your stop loss is. You have to know what your TP is. You have to know what your risk is. And you have to understand, you know, when to pull out of the trade. So. Let's see. So Alan is asking, you're saying news, I just see oil and gas. Will that move the Dow? So I'm not sure if you understand like how the Dow works, Alan. The Dow is basically the top 30 stocks in the US, right? So let me just show you the index. Or here, let me just pull it up for you. So I'm pretty sure you have an idea of how it works, right? Of like how the Dow index works. I don't know how that's taken off, but yeah, anyways, so like you mentioned, right, you see oil and you see gas, right? If you look at the index here, man, it's not loading. Let me see. Okay, so you look at the index here, what company is with gas, right? Chevron. Chevron is a big player in the Dow 30, right? It's a very expensive stock. So if Chevron here gets affected, then it's going to push price, right? Once you assume that if the gas news is not good and the Chevron stock price goes down, this is going to affect US30 because it's such an expensive stock, right? It has high impact on the stock there. Also, you know, looking at other companies here, all these companies are tied in with gas and oil, right? Boeing, for example, right? Boeing can't fuel their planes without gas, right? So gas prices are too high, their prices go high, stock price goes down. You look at other stocks here, Goldman Sachs, right? Goldman Sachs is highly invested in oil, right? If they're invested in oil and their stock goes down, it's going to affect the Dow, right? So you understand like the correlation there. There's a lot of stocks here that will affect news. So that's how you would understand, like there's other things here, like basically any US news will affect the Dow. Any Japanese news will affect the Dow, right? So if you guys follow the Dow this week, so looking over here this week, right? It was a Asia session and it was on Tuesday. You guys see this big spike right here that happened at night? There was no US news that was happening during that time, right? It was Japanese news. So Japanese news happened right here and it still affected US30. So the thing that you guys need to understand is that US30 is highly tied to like basically anything that's happening in the world. If there's a war going on, it's going to affect US30. If there's oil prices or oil stuff going on, it's going to affect the prices. Like, for example, we have OPEC, I don't know if it's today, but we have the OPEC meeting that's going on, I think this week, or it was happening recently. But when the OPEC meeting happens, that's like an oil conference, but it affects US30 super heavily based on the companies that are involved. So yeah, there's no like direct correlation, but if you just tie one in, like, you know, 2 and 2 together and you kind of understand like how everything is kind of affected, that's how it'll affect US30 as a whole, not necessarily So it might not directly affect it, but it might. So that's why you still pay attention to news. And I think that's why a lot of people get burnt. Because I see a lot of people like, I don't know if Camo's here. Yeah, like Camo messaged me the other day and he was asking if there was news because he got stopped out of his position super hard. And there was news during that time. It wasn't directly correlated with US30, but there was like, I forgot what happened. There was like Canadian news or something. And then it spiked and then he ended up getting stopped out. And then he asked if there was news and I mentioned like how it was correlated. Let's see, some link over here from Peter. Peter mentioned Yellen says Treasury is taking extraordinary measures to avoid default as US hits debt limit. All right, so if this is the case here, I don't think this is good for the economy. So, all right, this might be the initial push for price to push below. Question from Alan. Alan's asking, do you also trade other things like gold and oil? No, I don't. I don't trade that at all. I trade US30 and that's pretty much it. I do trade Forex pairs from time to time, but I don't trade. I used to trade gold a long time ago. Gold is very erratic, so I don't like trading gold at all. And the thing with gold is that the lot sizing is different between brokers. The last time I traded gold, it blew one of my accounts because the lot sizing was way different between one broker and the other. I made profit on the trade, but due to the lot size, it basically blew the other account. So I don't trade gold at all. I definitely don't trade oil. I don't know if you traded oil during that time when it was super volatile and like basically the bare cost of oil went negative. That was like a big heads up that like, oil is probably not one to necessarily trade the way that we do. I mean, it's good for long-term investments if you're holding on to it, but not for like scalping and stuff like that, because oil can really screw you over. There was so many, I mean, the fees for oil are like super high back then. So I don't really trade oil at all. The only other thing I trade is Forex, but even Forex, it's just too slow of a moving pair. I don't like holding on to trades for like days on end before it hits TP. So I'll be like intraday trading Forex sometimes, just the major pairs, AUD USD, Euro USD, GU, NU, USD CAD, USD CHF, UJ, basically anything paired with the US dollar. I'll trade those because these are heavily affected by US30. But my main asset that I trade is US30 or YM, whichever you want to consider it. Yeah, I just focus on one thing. I've been trading US30 live for like 5 years now. So this is how I got really good at really analyzing and identifying moves here for US30, because it's the same thing. I mean, it repeats itself. What I'd recommend is to like really focus on one thing and then go heavy on that one thing. So that's what I do with US30 here. So I'm able to take bigger lot sizes because I understand how it moves versus, being kind of like tied into all these other assets. Yeah, Patrick said, I saw Sean trade gold once and I ran scared. Yeah, no, that one day I traded gold, it was good, but it messed up all my MFF accounts. I had to like start over all of them because they were on the copier. Yeah, I mean, Alan said he blew out the other account the other day. Yeah, no, gold and oil is it messy? Well, I think gold for sure. Gold is like I think that blows everybody's accounts, right? I've seen so many people blow accounts with gold. It's like, it's crazy. Gold does move very similar to US30 though. So like if you wanted to apply the same strategies on gold that I do for US30, it works just the same. So like, for example, here, right? This here would be a momentum scalp, right? We have price above the pivots, trend meters green. Pivots are angling up. We have a buy signal here, buy signal here. This is where the entry would have been taken for this here, because you have a buy signal. So you would have taken this trade here, applying the same exact strategy. It's a red flag, but if you were to take it here, you take that for a long position, stop loss right there at the swing, 236. And then if you were to let this trade, run on gold, you can see that price does swing above and it works out. So the same strategies work because it's the same. I mean, if there's volatility in the market, the strategies will work. All the strategies are based off momentum. So momentum and trend. So as long as the market is moving for that specific asset, you can use the same strategies for whatever you want to trade. But I personally don't like gold because there's a lot of fake outs with gold and it's easy to get stopped out by accident. Like, for example, if you took this prior entry right here, this one would have stopped you out because it would have swung down, hit your stop loss, and then went straight to TP. So yeah, gold is not one of the assets that I personally like to trade. I just stick with my US30. I make a pretty good amount with US30 just trading this alone. So that's what I stick to. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. You know, a lot of people traded oil that day. If you guys remember, like, let me see if I can find it over here. If you guys remembered in the if you guys remember this post happened a long time ago. I think it's in the regular chat. Yeah, so this is like the day when it happened, right? It was like in 2019, there's this guy, he posted, he was like, he took like a GU trade during the gold time when it was spiking through. And then this dude went past his account. So his account balance is 4,000, but he went negative 21,000. And he was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I want my money right back from cut. He had a 25 pip stop loss and it blasted right through it. So there was a lot of people that were blowing accounts around that time. It's crazy. That's why I don't really mess with anything else. The thing with US30 is like I understand how it works, so it's good to just master one thing and just find different entries within it. Yeah, Rashida said I traded oil one time, never went back. Yeah, it's not necessarily the best thing to trade. There's a lot of better assets out there. I think oil is good to gamble with though. If you want a YOLO account, like if you just want to YOLO your account, you could trade gold or oil, and I think you'll see where it takes you. It'll either take you like to a lot of profit, or it'll take you to a lot of negative. Anyways, back to US30 over here. News just passed. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up news price. News price right there. I'll clean that up. Yeah, Keonia said gold can't see me ever again. Yeah, no, same here. Yeah, I think everyone that I've talked to or that I've had discussion with regarding gold, it has never treated anybody right. Like it's people have made profit off gold, but they've lost a lot more than they've won. So it's just a mess. Yeah, exactly. Alan said if it's not broke, don't fix it. Agree, 100%. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks, Peter. News is positive and price of the option came down. All right, so the 10-minute over here has a pending sell. The 5-minute here still hasn't confirmed. We need price to be below the pivots, right? So that's the main thing we're looking for. We're looking for price to come below here. Same with the 10. When price comes below here, then we can possibly start looking for entries, but we just don't have that yet. All right. Yeah, so the 1-minute over here is pushing below. We need the 5 here to confirm and the 10-minute here to confirm as well. If we have that, we can start looking for possible sells. But at the moment, I mean, price is still bouncing around opening price right here. Camos had stopped him out at 700 pips above stop loss. News is wild. Yeah, no, news is wild. It's that's why I don't trade news at all. It's not really worth the risk in my opinion, because you're really just gambling at that point. Gambling's not the same as trading. All right, so the 1 hour over here is still bearish, guys. So bearish here on the 1 hour, bearish here on the 30-minute. 10-minute over here is also bearish. So we're just here on the short term, on the short time frames. We're looking for the 5-minute to confirm the bearish confirmation. If there's any questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If there's anything you want me to explain, anything you want me to cover, just go ahead and drop your questions. Otherwise, it looks like price is starting to finally make its way down, but I don't know if this will hold. So we got to wait for it to actually confirm that it's below. And then once we have that, we can hopefully start looking for at least one entry here. At least a momentum scout failure. I don't think I'll be taking it right away, but I'll be looking for the variation to follow it. Yeah, basically, we just need price to continue dropping from this point, which looks good so far. All right. There's nothing to take right now. Man, if I just took every time price came down to opening price, I could have made a bunch of profit here. It's all good. I think we had profits here from Deswell. So Deswell said didn't trade yesterday, but it looks nice. Locked in a total profit of, let's see, 6,876 for the day. Nice work, Deswell. Yeah, you caught up for today, so not bad. You didn't trade yesterday, but you traded today. Locked in a pretty good profit of 6,876 for the day. Yeah, he said he hit sell trades from this SR zone all day. So basically, whenever price came up there, Deswell would just take his sells and then ride his way down further. Nice. Yeah, I mean, especially since we have an overall sell bias, that's basically what could have been done every time price reached, a certain area. Check this real quick. All right. So price is finally making its way down over here. Yeah, it's starting to look good now. So as you can see, patience is starting to finally pay off here as price starts to drop lower. We have a sell signal right here on the 10-minute currently pending. Price is below the pivots here on the 5-minute. We just needed to confirm so that we can start looking for sells. And the 1-minute over here as well, price is making its way down to the news price earlier this morning. So everything here is starting to align for a sell bias. We just need that confirmation. So we currently have a bearish trend on the 1-minute, 5-minute here. If price stays below this point and trend meter turns red, then we can start to confirm that this here is going to be bearish as well. And then lastly, here on the 10-minute, we're looking for the same thing, right? Price is attempting to shift below. This is the first candle where it's actually been below the pivots. We just need it to close below and stay below there. This candle here has about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on it. So hopefully within those next 2 minutes, price stays below here and it closes with the sell signal. If it doesn't close with the sell signal, we're going to have to wait for the next candle to close, and that's going to take another 10 minutes, which is going to be a long time. So yeah, we just got to wait. Exactly. Yeah. Keonia said, yep, said it'll dump. Christian said buyer stops getting smashed. Yeah, exactly. So if you guys remember the liquidity zones that I marked up right here, everyone's getting stopped out now. So this is the stop loss hunt that I warned you guys about earlier. So I drew lines over here earlier, right? And I mentioned, okay, when price reaches this point, it's pretty much going to knock out everyone's stop losses, which it did. So price came down to this point right here. And you can see this big red candle right here, right? Huge volatility spike. The volatility spike was because people were getting stopped out. Their stop losses were just getting triggered and it was getting pushed down harder and harder. So there's a liquidity 101 for you guys. It's just really identifying where people's stop losses are, right? If someone's chasing a buy over here, then where are they going to place your stop loss? Stop losses are going to place right here, right here, right here, and right here, right? It's not that difficult to identify. You're basically like playing chess. You're identifying where everyone else is hoping not to get stopped out. So we already had an overall direction of bias, so we just don't mess with it. We just wait for price to actually come down. So let's see. Yeah, Patrick over here said plan your trade your plan. Definitely. So Patrick over here, all wins for the day, locked in a total profit of 3,622. He just took trades off my analysis. It looks like, he took the trades as it came back down, which is solid. And great work right there, Patrick. So not bad. We've got Vincent over here as well. Vincent took that sell right there. His price crossed below. Total profit of 77.28 for the day. Nice work, Vincent. So yeah, if you guys have the indicators, like you guys can see right here, Vincent has the indicators, right? So he's right here looking at his indicators and he saw an entry right here for a pivot scalp. He took that entry, full TP. So nice work, Vincent. So yeah, if you guys have my strategies, during this live session, I only apply these 3 strategies because these are like the highest probability trades that I have come up with. And I just want to give you guys, solid strategies, not like anything where it's too risky. But if you guys can see from here, if I look at my templates, I have like over 20 strategies here. So if you guys want to apply this, just go on the website, kodikaitrades.com. This is what the website looks like. So kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. And then from there, you can choose which one you like. If you want to go to the free intro course and learn the strategies, you can do that. If you want the indicators, then you can sign up for the indicators. But that's pretty much how a lot of these other members here are applying strategies and entering trades that I haven't called in the live session, because this is a different strategy here. All right, so going back here, we still don't have a confirmation of anything yet. We're still waiting for these here to confirm. So there's no momentum scalp failure here. The trend on the 5 minutes still hasn't confirmed. Price was below it, but it didn't actually close and stay below this point. Price is actually shifting back up right here. 10-minute over here, price is doing the same thing. It didn't close with the sell signal, and now it's starting to shift back up. So we just got to wait for this to play out, but we just don't have anything right now. So yeah, Maddie said it might bounce off the pivots and dump. Yeah, it's kind of what I see happening too right here, Maddie, on the 5. Well, pretty much all the time frames. On the 1 right here, on the 5 right here, and the 10 right here as well, still starting to make its way back down. Yeah, so this right here would technically, and I'll mark it up for you guys, this could technically maybe satisfy the requirements for momentum scalp failure, but I don't want to take it because there's no confirmation here on the 5 yet that it's a strong sell. Once we get a confirmation of a strong trend here for a sell, then I'll start looking for entries, but we do have a possible entry here on the 1 minute. So you can see that there's a pending buy signal on this candle here. If this candle here closes with the buy signal, it's technically going to be a momentum scalp failure, this entry right here. We don't have the confirmation yet, so we can't really take that without the risk involved that we might be losing that trade. So I'm not going to take the trade myself. I'm going to mark it up if it comes up, but I'm not going to take it because I'm only taking trades here that I'm absolutely sure are going to hit. So basically just waiting for this buy signal here to come up. I'll mark it up for you guys if you guys do want to take it, but again, take it at your own risk. Understand that this trade here is considered risky in my perspective, because the 5 minute here still hasn't confirmed. But there's a couple confluences here that look good though. So the 5 minute here, where it's rejecting off the pivots, I think this is a good confluence. And I think the 10-minute over here that's still bearish is also another good confluence. The only thing that we don't have here is the sell signal on the 10-minute. Yeah, CT said 5 minute good, waiting for 10-minute momentum, although it's below 10 pivots. Yeah, no, and I agree too. CT. So technically this could be an entry for a momentum scalp failure. But again, like I mentioned, it doesn't meet my confluences here with regard to being a strong sell just yet. I mean, it looks like a sell, but it's not a very strong sell yet. So if this here closes with a buy signal, I'll mark it up for you guys. And if you guys want to take it, feel free to take it at your own risk. But I'm not going to take it as an official trade because it just seems a little risky. Plus the volume here is very low. So we'll see how this here plays out, but I mean, we're just gonna have to give it some time because it keeps coming up with that with that buy signal, but it doesn't actually close. So let me go over those requirements so that you guys can see. First of all, for the momentum scalp failure over here, first requirement is you want to confirm the overall trend on the 1 minute, 5 minute, and 10-minute time frames. Looking over here on the 1 minute, this here is bearish since price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. Right here on the 5 minute, you can see prices below the pivots. The pivots are starting to angle down and the trend meter is blue. So this here isn't a strong sell bias yet, but it is turning into a sell bias. Looking over here on the 10-minute, we currently have a sell bias here since price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red and the pivots are angling down. So this right here is a sell trend. This here is somewhat of a sell trend. And this right here is a sell trend. So overall trend here is technically still a sell. It's just not a very strong one. The next requirement for that strategy is to confirm retracement momentum signal on the 1 minute. That's the buy signal that we're looking for here. So once we get a buy signal that comes up here, that's going to be step 2, and it's going to confirm the retracement momentum signal. It's a retracement momentum signal because price is bearish here with regard to trend. And if momentum goes opposite of it, that's just considered a retracement, not necessarily a reversal, but just a retracement. The last step here is to confirm volume is below average. So once we confirm the buy signal, we want to make sure the volume is below average. And then once we confirm that, we can enter on the close of retracement signal. So basically, we're just looking for a buy signal here, and we're making sure that it's below average. If that's the case, then there'll be an entry there, and it can possibly be taken for a sell. But as I mentioned, I'm not looking to really take this as an official trade. If I do take it as an official trade, I'll let you guys know. But at the moment right now, until we get a confirmation here on the 10 and 5, I'm still going to be on the fence. So I'm personally still on the fence right here. We do have the pending sell signal on the 10, so I'm kind of just waiting for this here to close. We got about 4 minutes left on this candle, so hopefully it closes. If it does, then great. We'll start looking for possible sells, but at the moment, we're just gonna have to sit tight for a second. Yeah, Patrick. So looking over here right now, I was measuring it with a 2550. 2550 is just way too wide, right? So I think 2550 might be a little too wide. Basically, I like reaching for TPs that are still within the range here, right? So if price swings below and swings above, I look for the TP that's like tight enough. But if it becomes a big move like this, then yeah, we'll switch to 2550. So right now at the moment, if this candle is, if we have an entry that's a candle that's so big, it's going to be 2550. But if it's something small, then it's going to be 130. So it just depends on where the entry's at, Patrick. So we don't have the entry yet, but once we do have it, we can kind of determine, you know, which TP stop loss we plan on using. All right, so we don't have the confirmation yet. 10-minute here is still like bouncing around. It's not really providing anything for us right now. So yeah, if I was to take the momentum scalp failure right here, Patrick, it would be at 10:30, but we'll see, you know, how the candle actually closes because we don't have a confirmation of like where it's going to actually close yet. All right, still no confirmation. The 10-minute here still has about 3 minutes left until it can confirm. So basically all I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a buy signal on the 1 minute time frame. If I can find that, then this would provide an entry for momentum scalp. But if we get a sell signal here on the 10, this is going to help us provide an entry for a momentum scalp variation. So we're kind of looking for both here. But there just isn't any confirmation yet. Nice. Yeah. Karen said the SR rejection strategy is hitting also. Yeah. I would assume that one would hit because that one's good during ranging markets and it's been ranging a lot lately. So that's like one thing Maddie was referring to. He's been taking those entries as well and they've been hitting. So yeah, if you guys want to apply that strategy, that one still hits pretty solid. Here's Maddie's profit so far. He's currently at 347 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. And then we got Stern over here, total profit of 180 for the day. All wins, no losses. Nice work, Stern. Yeah, and as you guys can see, people here are applying different strategies. So there's a lot of strategies you can apply, but for the main strategies here, there's no entries available at the moment. Let's see, CT said just took a risky variation at 745. Reason risky, 10 hasn't confirmed, but below the pivots. Nice. Yeah, no, I could see that too. I would have taken it if it met the requirements, but you know, I got to stick to my game plan. But yeah, no, great work with catching those profits right there, CT. You and Maddie here. Yeah, Maddie said he took the liquidity as it went down, but it didn't give him a full TP. Yeah, kind of not surprised, right? All right, I'm looking for the 10-minute here. I need this here to close below so that we get that sell signal. It does not look like we're going to get it though, but I mean, we'll see if we do. If anything, we might get a momentum scalp failure over here. I was hoping we'd get that sell signal because that'd be really useful for the next the following entry after the momentum scalp failure. That may possibly come up right here. That's really choppy right now. So it comes up and then it spikes down super hard. Yeah, 10-minute here is not going to close with the sell signal. So I'm not getting that right now. It's going to have to be another 10-minute candle before it does. All right, so no sell signal here on the 10. Looks like we're gonna have to wait for another candle here. Yeah, So we got to wait one more candle here on the 10 for this to close. So it's getting close to 8, guys. I'll probably hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. If we don't get a sell signal anytime soon, so for example, if we don't get a sell signal on this next candle, then I think I'm pretty much going to be done for the day. I'm not going to take any trades because it's if we don't get a sell signal here at 8 o'clock, I don't expect us to have an entry by 8:30 because you're going to have another 30 minutes to wait for the sell signal. And it's just the volatility here is very low. So it's the same. Yeah, like what Christian said. Christian said the same scenario as yesterday. Yeah, exactly. So we pretty much waited for like an hour and a half for a confirmation here. No confirmation. I mean, price is below the opening price, like I said it would be, but it's not necessarily where we need it to be, right? So we need the sell signal here to provide entry. And then we also need confirmation here as well on the 1. So we need either a buy signal here to provide a momentum scalp failure, or we need a sell signal here to confirm the momentum bias. All right, so we do have the pending sell signal here on the 10, but we don't really have anything here on the 1. It looks like volatility has pretty much died down quite a bit. Looking over here at each candle, I'm just going to measure the candles to see how much price has been moving. Yeah, price has barely been moving like 100 pips. It's like barely anything. And I'm measuring the size of the candle. It's not necessarily the bodies, but I mean, not the whole candle, but just the bodies to see where volatility is really pushing. All right, let's see if this here pushes up a little bit. All right, let's see, Maddie said crude oil inventories at 8 o'clock, SR hit again. Yeah, there's a lot of SR entries coming up right here, guys. So if you guys are looking, there's a lot of SR entries that keep coming up right here. I'm not taking them myself, but there are a couple SR entries. If you guys know the strategy that Maddie's referring to and the strategy that Karen's also applying is called the SR rejection strategy, which is right here. You can find this in the course, but I'm not applying it during the live sessions. This used to be one of the main strategies, but it confused a lot of people. So I'm not necessarily applying this one as much anymore. For the live sessions, I'm just focusing on these 3. I think for the whole year, I'm going to focus on just these 3, and I'm going to show you guys, basically proof of concept that it works. Basically, like I showed you guys, proof of concept for all the other strategies. The strategies changed a little bit, but these here are probably the easiest ones to follow because they come up right after each other. So if we get a momentum scalp failure, typically right after a momentum scalp variation will come up. So if you miss this entry here, you can take this one, and if you miss this one, you can take this one. And that's why these here work well, because they allow for you multiple opportunities to enter the trade. Yeah, Maddie said another. So the SRs keep hitting right here. If you guys can see, the SRs keep hitting, but it's so close to news price where, where it's becoming a little too risky to take these entries here. But yeah, no, nice work on catching those SRs, Maddie. Yeah, another one right there. For that, use the SRV2 indicator. It identifies zones on the chart for you, and you basically identify wick rejections of zones and pivots. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. A lot of other traders that I've seen online, they trade this way. However, they don't have my indicator, so they don't have it. They're not able to identify them as fast. Like for me, I created this indicator, the SR indicator, to identify support and resistance zone. So like, you've seen a lot of people. There's a lot of people who trade support resistance, and they do this by hand, which I think is crazy. Like imagine drawing all this stuff by hand, right? Drawing new zones every couple minutes. It would drive me insane. So that's why I created the indicator here to create it. And basically what Maddie's looking for is he's looking for all of the rejections off these zones here. So if I was to draw my zones on this point, there'd be a zone right there. There'd be a zone right there. And there'd be, a couple more zones like right there. So basically Maddie over here was catching all the cells as price rejected off the zone and pivot. So you can see right there, price rejecting off the zone and pivot, and a bunch of sell entries that came over here. Easy sell, etc. Bunch of sells right there. So, well, we do have news coming up right now in about 5 minutes, so it is a bit of a risky entry to take. But here's Maddie's profit so far. Yeah, those are trades that Maddie took, 3 of them back to back right there. Profit of 347. All right, but yeah, we're not going to delve into that strategy, guys, because we're not applying that strategy, so I don't want to confuse you guys. There's still no entry here for momentum scout failure. The main one we're looking for here is going to be the momentum scout failure. We don't have it yet, but we're looking for a buy signal to come up here to provide an entry for that. So until we get that, no entries here. I'm not going to force anything. You know, as I mentioned, I'm being very conservative with my entries here because I don't want to be chasing anything that's going to basically screw me. So we have a, let's see. Burton said his SR isn't working properly. What's the settings? The settings should be default. Burton, are you using the SR or SRV2? Because the SRV2 is different. So there's one SR, which only has one zone, and there's the SRV2. So you might be applying the other one. So if you're using the SR, it just has 2 lines, has one green line and one red line. This provides the support resistance for current price. If you turn on the SRV2, this will give you multiple zones on the chart. To enable this, like how it is right here, Fern, go to your settings, and you just got to turn on show body levels. So if you don't turn on body levels, it's just going to be support resistance points. But if you turn on body levels, it'll give you zones. And then from there, you can, if you want it to go across your screen, it's default like at 100. So you're going to get cut off. But if you want it to go across your screen, put in 1,000, and it's going to go across the entire screen. So yeah, just make sure you're on the right one. Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Justin said, hey, Sean, I have till next Friday to get 8%. What would you suggest? Keep trading like normal with solid entries, or wait and get a new challenge? I would continue trading, Justin. I mean, it's really up to your preference, but for me personally, I don't see I mean, it's really up to you, right? If you feel confident about a position, if you're only taking the trades here on the live, then I would continue trading. So if I'm taking the trade live, then I would take it because I'm only taking stuff that I know for sure is going to hit. If you're doing your own thing, then yeah, I'd probably just wait unless you feel like super confident. So if you feel confident about it, then take it. If not, then I would just wait for the free retry. You have till next Friday, so you have a whole week. So you do have a lot of time. I think it's enough time to pass, honestly, if you maybe increase your lot size, but then again, you don't want to overdo it. So only if you feel confident, keep pushing it. But if not, then, you know, just wait. If you feel exhausted, like for right now, if you feel like you've done so much already for like this challenge and you feel like you're kind of stressed out, then I would just wait for the free retry. But if, you know, you feel like you're confident to keep going, then I would just keep going. For me personally, I don't really feel about imbalance of confidence, right? I'm always like on the same level every day. I'm never really emotional on the good side, or I'm never emotional on the bad side. I'm kind of just right down the middle every day. So it's a rinse and repeat process for me. So it's just up to you how you want to handle it. But for the most part, I think I would just keep going, because you can't really time the market. You can't tell if the market's gonna be really good or if it's gonna be really bad. And the last thing you want to do is miss the market when it's running well. Let's see. Maddie said he's up 6.4% from last week, and this week not going to get greedy, so he's out. See you tomorrow. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. I'll see you back here tomorrow for Friday as we officially wrap up the trading week. Yeah, no problem, Justin. Let's see. Glenn said, do MFF offer unlimited retry? Honestly, I don't know. I've never, when I did MFF, I just passed right away, so I never had to do a retry. If you want, you could probably ask them directly. That'd probably be the easiest way to find out. But I personally don't know myself because I haven't had to go through that. I'm assuming they would though, because FCMO does it. So I'd figure out. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Hionia said they give a discount. So maybe like one free retry, I'm assuming. And then I guess it's just a discount after that if you want to retry it. But I don't know. I have never done a free retry with MFF, so I can't really say. Gotcha. Thanks, Harris. So Harris actually confirmed it. Harris confirmed that they do give you unlimited retries, but Keone over here also mentioned that they will give you a discount if you want to redo a failed challenge, basically. All right, so there's technically an entry here for a momentum scout failure, but it's right on news candle, so I'm not taking that trade. Obviously, we have news directly on it. So this is like going to be a clear red flag there because it's like literally on news price. So yeah, this right here. It looks like it would have hit too. Yeah. So Rashida said that it did hit. I think it hit right away. So as soon as the candle opened, it probably hit right away. But it was like literally on news candle, so I wouldn't have taken it. Yeah, this already hit TP. So if you did a 1030 split, it literally, as soon as it opened, it went down, hit TP, and then it spiked up based off the news. All right, so basically all I'm looking for here is a sell signal. If you don't get a sell signal right here, guys, or we actually didn't, I don't think we're gonna have any entries for today because it's already 8 o'clock. In order for us to have an entry here, we need to have a sell signal on the 10 minute to have a momentum scout variation. So the entry that we were looking for after, the first entry here was a momentum scout failure. The next entry would be if price closed below the pivot. So if price swung below here and closed below the pivots, this would technically be an entry for a momentum scout variation. And then if we got a sell signal after that, it would be a momentum scout. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that because the 10 minute here never closed with the sell signal. In order for us to take the entry here, we would need it to close with the sell signal. And that just doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. So unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to have any entries for today, guys. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat, but I think this is going to be pretty much our wrap up. I'll hang on for a little bit longer. I'll see if there's anything here that could happen, but the 10 minute here, I'm not seeing a sell signal coming up from now or the next 10 minutes. And the latest I'll be on here is 8:30. And by that time, it's probably going to be too late to catch any entries at that point because we're not going to get a sell signal here on the 10 because the next sell signal will possibly come at 8:10. And then from there, 8:10 to 8:30, I don't think we're going to have price confirming for another entry. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Harris said, yeah, MFF gives unlimited tries. He's lost many accounts. Yeah, no, it's all good. It happens, Harris. I mean, eventually, once you find the consistency, I think that's everyone's key with these funding companies. The problem with a lot of ththese funding companies is that they want you to be consistent, but a lot of people try to go for those big wins, right? They go for those home run trades where they make like 100 times profit on like 1 or 2 trades, and then they get funded. And once they get funded, they blow the account, right? Because you need to find consistency. I think that's the main thing with these funding companies. It's like really finding one strategy that's very consistent and just sticking to it. Cool. Yeah, Harris said that MFF gives a 10% discount, and T said he also got a repeat as well. Cool. All right, guys. So unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to have any entries for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I was hoping this would be the same situation as yesterday. If you guys remember yesterday, we waited pretty much all session, and at the very end, we were able to catch, an entry there. Unfortunately, there's no sell signal here on the 10, so it's not something that we could really hop into at the moment. Because this right here, so this would have been the entry for the momentum scout variation, because you can see prices closing below the pivots, but we don't have the confirmation on the other time frames. So this would have been an entry for us to take right here if we had the sell signal on the 10, which we currently do right now. It's pending, but it's not closed yet. So unfortunately, we can't hop into this trade just yet. And it's also in between all these red flags. So there's news price right here. There's news price up here. There's just no entries for us to take right now. And if you do take an entry, it'd be considered risky because it's at these red flags where I typically don't trade. Price generally gets manipulated around these areas. You can see previously over here, price came down. Every time price came down and tested this pink line, it got manipulated, right? Price came down below, bounced off it super heavy, bounced off it super heavy. Right here, price faked out, closed below it, but then it bounced up and then it came back again right here. And you can see where all of this manipulation starts to happen, right? At this pink line. So it's not exactly the best place to be looking for entries here. So, yeah, let's see. Other than that, see, Harris said, well, this time I'm playing it safe. Already got 3% on 100K. Hopefully this time I pass. Yeah, no, definitely, Harris. I hope you do too. It's really just focusing on high quality entries, and not taking any revenge trades or over trading, right? I think that's the main problem with a lot of people is revenge trading and over trading. So if you ever have a loss, I would just wrap it up for the day, come back tomorrow with a clear mind. Because that's what I do. Like I barely lose. If you guys have seen my track record, whenever I lose a trade, I'm usually done for the day. And I come back the next day even better. I make it right back and more. And that's kind of what has kept me on track with a lot of these trades here in my consistency. So, all right, there's nothing here on US30, guys. Let me just review everything real quick. 10-minute right here is currently bearish. So we're obviously looking for sells. So if you guys want to continue trading, obviously I'd be looking for sells here, right? Only sells. We don't have a sell signal here on the 10-minute yet, so we can't take any entries here on the 1. We have confirmation of trend, but we don't have confirmation of momentum. Looking over here on the higher time frames, everything here is also very bearish, right? Bearish on the 1 hour, bearish on the 30-minute, and bearish on the 10-minute. So I do expect price to continue dropping. I just don't know for how long, right? If price is going to stay that way or if it's going to swing back up, towards the end of the session. Looking over here at the Forex pairs, on USD, this is bullish on the 8-hour, bearish on the 4-hour, bearish on the 1 hour. It's not aligned. No good entries there. Your USD also missing right here. 8 hours bullish, 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is kind of bouncing back and forth. G over here, bullish, bullish, bullish. This would actually be a good entry for a buy, but the way that the market's been moving, I don't think it's one that I would necessarily want to risk. But there is a trade right there running for GU. NZD/USD mixed up. 1 hour is bearish, 4 hours bullish, 8 hours bullish. USD CAD, everything here is going sideways. USD CHF, bearish over here as well, but not very strong. And UJ over here is also bearish. So only trade right now is currently running is GU. Other than that, everything else is kind of just mixed. But yeah, look at this. Look at this witchcraft right here on US30. So this is why I don't trade after 8, guys. You guys can see once it hits 8 o'clock, let me just mark it up for you guys here. Market starts to move kind of weird. So basically from like 8 o'clock until 9, let me just clean this up since we're not taking anything. From 8 to 9, you're going to see a lot of ranging and consolidating, right? A lot of back and forth movement. Here's a range right now currently, and it's probably going to stay this way for a while. Right? Sideways movement right here from 8 until basically 9. And then this can continue. It's probably going to push up or push down at some point. And then from there, it's going to consolidate and range again until 10. And then at 10 o'clock, that's when people come back from lunch and then they'll start trading directional again. So right now, I don't think it's a good time to trade. I personally cut it off at this time, but it's the same pattern every day. If you go back every day, if you want to rewind to like yesterday's trading session, just go back between 8 and 9, 9 and 10. You're going to see the market starts to move very funky. And it's not a good time to enter anything from that point. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. You guys can email me at Sean@KodiKaiTrades. Unless you guys want to message me on Telegram, it's faster. I'm just at KodiKaiTrades. Some more profits right here from Deswell. Locked in a total profit of 8,228 for the day. Nice work, Deswell. No official trades today, but Deswell was applying the strategies on his own and locked in some pretty good profit. Keone over here as well. She locked in a sell earlier, total profit of 6,240 for the day. So nice work right there. Great consistency. And other than that, I think that's about it for the most part. Let's see. Here, let me answer this question real quick. So, hey, Fern, so for your indicator, what time frame are you on? Because I don't see a time. Oh, you're on your 30-minute. Okay. So you're on the 30-minute right here. Let me see. There's probably no zones around that area. Yeah, no, that's right. So there's just no zones below there because price dropped below here. So you can see price started to drop right here at about 8 o'clock on Wednesday. So price started dropping heavily right here, and price hasn't established any support resistance because you can see price hasn't retraced yet, right? So you can see right here when price retraces, so price comes down, it retraces up, right? It establishes support and resistance. If you look over here down below, price hasn't retested any areas yet, right? So price kind of came below, it consolidated, but it hasn't really tested an area. In order for a support resistance to be provided on the SRV2, the same exact price point has to be tested more than twice. So you can see right here, all these highs here, they haven't tested the same exact price point. That's why these are so accurate, because it provides support resistance at areas where it's been tested more than once. So if you don't have anything here, you go on the shorter time frames, you'll see that zones are starting to produce here on the 15, right? On the 10, zones are starting to produce here, but on the 30 minutes, on the higher time frames, you don't have any zones around that area. So at some point later on today or later tomorrow, you'll see zones start to produce around this area, Fern. Yeah, unfortunately, this happens sometimes. That's why I don't use it too much on the higher time frames, but on the shorter time frames, that's where it's very useful. It'll be useful at some point though. Like if you're on the higher time frame, like the 4 hour, you'll see here that there are zones because price does retrace, but on the 30 minute, it just hasn't retraced yet. So it'll come up eventually, just a matter of time. So any other profits here? We have a Nelly total profit of 7,800 for the day, who's basically playing around with his demo account. So it's okay. You know, there's no problem with playing around with the demo account if you guys are still practicing or if you're waiting for your funded account. And Nelly here has about 2 funded accounts are on the way. So he's just trading on his demo right now until his account's ready. Will over here as well. He said he took a sell on his own, considered it. There was a good chance of it hitting. Total profit of 150 for the day. Nice work, Will. Yeah, no, it's solid. I think you're almost done with passing your challenge, right? So you should be about there. All right, so I think that's it, guys. If you guys have any more profits to post up, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, unfortunately, no entries for today. But just keep in mind, we have another day of trading tomorrow, and we had a pretty great week so far with no losses. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, as we wrap up this trading week. So